Hey everyone, how's it going? So last time we looked at showing different content when the user accesses different pages of our site. Now this right here is called routing, and you can already see how if we had loads of pages on our site, this page right here or this function would get quite congested. So what I'm going to do is show you a more elegant way of handling this. This right here is called routing, where you route the user's requests to different content. So what we're going to do is create a new file which will handle this. So if you right click on the side and click new file, or you can click file and a new file up there, it's entirely up to you. And let's just call this routes.js. So here's our routing file, and we'll create a function. We'll say const display content like this, and we're going to do this using the new arrow syntax that I mentioned before. If you wanted to do this below in regular function syntax, that's fine too. So you could say function display content like this. It's entirely up to you, it doesn't really matter, but I'm using the new arrow syntax like this. Now this is going to take two parameters, so inside there we're going to add the rec or request and res for response variables, just like we did right here. You see right here we've got rec and res again. And what we're going to do is go back to myapp.js and take all of this code right here. Take all of that. Okay, so now that function is empty, and paste it in here. So what we'll do is use this function here to handle all the incoming requests. So instead of doing this block right here, we will instead call this function. So before we can call this function, we need to actually export it from this file. So right at the bottom of the page, we're going to say module.exports like this, and then we'll just say equals, and then display content like this. So what we've done is we've said what's being exported from this file is this display content function. Notice how we're not calling this function, so we don't have any parentheses afterwards. We're only saying the name of the function, okay? So let me show you how this is used, and that might make a bit more sense to you. Right at the top there of the myapp.js file, we're going to say const, and then we can just say display content equals require, and in there we'll put the path to the file. So inside double quotes or single quotes, we can do /, which means starting from the directory we're in at the moment, look for, and you can see how it's giving me a suggestion of the file to come next, which in this case routes. So I'm going to press that. And we don't need a .js afterwards. Although this is a .js file, we don't need to say .js. With Node.js, if you leave that off, it will just assume that it's a .js file. So you can add .js if you really want to, but if you don't specify a .js, it will assume it's a JavaScript file. So there, we've imported this display content function from here, because remember, we set the export of this file to be display content. So when we require this, it just gives us the export or anything exported inside here. So all we need to do now is just replace this whole block there with display content. Now notice how I'm not calling this function. I'm not going to put parentheses there. All I'm doing is specifying the name of the function. So we're just saying every time you do this, use this function for your next step. Okay, so in theory, everything in there should be the same. Let's give it a go now. So I'm going to stop this execution, Control C, and then I'm going to start it again using node myapp.js. Okay, and it's running, there's no errors, so that's good. Now we should see the exact same thing. If I refresh this page, we see page not found. If I go to profile, we see this is profile page. And if I go to here, we see cheeseburgers. So obviously there's no difference. We haven't changed any of the code execution. All we've done is just change where it comes from. So you can already see how this is a lot more elegant looking now. There are obviously loads of ways we could refactor this further, which you will see in the course as we go on. So you can specify a separate file for all of the different pages. In some cases, that's a better way to go. So please don't think that this one page will have every single routing scenario. We will refactor this further, but this again is just a way for me to demonstrate how we can use different files to handle different scenarios for us, okay? Any questions at all, just let me know.